Like and subscribe right now, or you're going to have bad luck for the rest of the week.
Animals are known to be violent, much more than humans, because they have to survive in the wild. And just like humans, they also have enemies. From creatures of the sea to predators that can't get along in the same area and more, join us as we reveal to you 8 sets of animals that absolutely hate each other. Number 8. Crocodiles and hippos. On the surface, it may seem like this is a rather random pairing of animals to say hate each other, but in Africa, they meet more than you think. Hippos and crocodiles are both river dwellers in many aspects, and they have been known to clash at times. Moreover, both of them are some of the most aggressive creatures in all of Africa. It is easy to think of hippos as nothing more than lovable lumps of a creature, but in reality, they are indeed a creature you should be scared of. Once, a hunter was trying to get one for his trophy case and didn't notice that one hippo was actually under his canoe. Before he could do anything, the angry hippo flipped his boat, got him into the water, and did what came naturally. On the other hand, we're sure you must have heard a variety of stories about them gulping down all sorts of creatures, even humans. They are peak predators and love to show off their dominance, which is one of the reasons that they are so aggressive. They can be super unpredictable at times and without any doubt, very deadly. In terms of who wins the battle among these two river monsters, it would be the hippos more times than not. Their mass makes it difficult to take them down, especially with the crocodile being an ambush predator and not really a fighter in longbouts. Hippos and crocs don't clash too often, but their hate for one another is strong because each of them feels that they're the dominant force in the water. Number 7. Sharks and dolphins. In the waters of the world, there are many battles between predators and prey, and there are some creatures that go beyond the call to ensure that certain predators don't get what they want. To that end, arguably the greatest rivalry that is going on in the oceans right now is that of the sharks versus the dolphins. If you've seen various movies and TV shows, you'll likely know how dolphins are one of the only deterrences when it comes to sharks, which is weird because when you think about it, the size and power of the sharks, it seems odd to think that dolphins would give them a tough time. But with dolphins, it is not a battle of strength, but a battle of wits. Dolphins are incredibly intelligent creatures, and not just that, they're ones who are willing to go beyond the call to defend those they think are worthy of their attention. This is why there are numerous stories in which people tell how dolphins saved them from shark attacks. One time, a whole pod of dolphins swam around a group of lifeguards in an attempt to stave off a shark attack, and it worked. Dolphins and sharks don't only clash around humans though, and they do battle in the waters. Sharks hate dolphins because they keep them from their prey at points, and dolphins hate them because of their nature and how they harm others. Number 6. Lions and hyenas. The rivalry between lions and hyenas is so legendary that it was very beautifully depicted in the hit Disney movie The Lion King, where they were not just enemies, they were two groups they wanted nothing more than to be dominant over the other. But what surprises you though is just how true this rivalry is, and at times it's one of the deadliest rivalries in the world today. If you were to glance at these two combatants, you might see a major problem with this rivalry. Lions are said to be the king of the jungle because of being huge and deadly and having one of the most powerful bites in the world. So how can such a powerful animal lose to someone much weaker like a hyena? Let us tell you here that hyenas have many advantages over lions, mainly that they are numerous and they are not afraid to attack a singular lion with a massive pack to cause all sorts of trouble for the lion. Lions still win most of the time because they are enduring creatures with incredible strength, but hyenas have got some victories of their own. But why are they such rivals? Well, that's because they're predators who go after the same prey, which leads to conflicts and at times war. In Ethiopia in the year 1999, 35 hyenas and 6 lions died as a result of a 2-week-long war that went on in a desert. The hatred for each other is so strong that they'll kill each other's cubs just to screw with the population numbers of their rivals. Number 5. Ants. In the world today, there are over 16,000 different species of ants, and if you wanted to put a pure number on the population of all ants in the world, it would be well over 10,000 trillion. Given all of this, you might think that ants as a whole would get along, if for no other reason than because they're all ants and have similar bodies and abilities, but you would be wrong. In fact, ants going after other ants is one of the most long-standing rivalries and hatred in the world today. But the rivalry and hate for one another can honestly be explained in the most basic of ways. On one hand, because there are so many ants in the world today, it's nearly impossible for them to not run into each other. While there are so many species of ants, many of them eat the same things as leaves or certain fruits, or even use the same kind of materials to build their colonies, which brings us to another problem with them. Mainly, they are known for being very distinct social animals. Imagine you were one of these ants and you were raised your whole life to understand a certain role in a certain way of doing things to be the organization of your home. Then, all of a sudden, another race of ants is seen in your territory. So what would be your first reaction? Obviously, you'll think that they're invaders trying to hurt your colony, right? Thus, when most of the time ants meet other ants from other species or colonies, they attack each other. Moreover, they are not afraid to get more creative on how they do this, so they have various forms of soldier ants, and these army ants do most of the attacking. Then, the rest of the ants are there to swarm other ants and grip them limb to limb. This is also the technique they use to fight off various other species of animals that try and harm their colonies. Number 4. Bees and hornets. Another unlikely rivalry you might not know about or understand is the battle that goes on between bees and hornets. On the surface, this is the one that is a bit perplexing, as bees and hornets have all sorts of similarities and are oftentimes mistaken for one another by humans looking at their sometimes massive nests, but in reality, their hatred is far deeper and it's largely due to hornets themselves. You see, when a hornet builds its massive nest, it's largely built of substances having large amount of sugars, which means that when it goes looking for the materials to build a nest, it'll go to some dead fruit or bees, as there's liquid that comes out of the bee when it is killed. Because the hornet knows this, they go into the bee territory all the time so that they can get the liquid for their homes, which forms the foundation of the never-ending rivalry. Number 3. Meerkats and Drongo. The meerkat has gotten quite a reputation thanks to movies like The Lion King and TV shows like Meerkat Manor. They're seen as rather adorable creatures and are very social ones too, which is all true in their own right. And as The Lion King has suggested, they are indeed beings that love to eat bugs and other slimy creatures. But also in Africa are the Drongo birds, who aren't too pleased with the meerkats taking a lot of the food that they like to eat. Now, unlike various other rivalries, these two species rarely ever fight head-on. The Drongo birds have a way to scare away the meerkats using psychological warfare. Although meerkats are large in numbers, they do not have much power in their small bodies, and that makes them perfect prey for a wide array of creatures, and the Drongo birds know this, and they are actually able to mimic the sounds of the other creatures. By doing this, they make the meerkats think that a deadly foe is nearby, and they'll drop any of the food they've dug up, killed, or bolt. This leaves the Drongo birds with spoils of war which they love to munch on. Number 2. Orcas and seals. If you ever head out to a wider ocean and look on certain land masses, whether it be solid land or a massive pack of ice, you'll sometimes notice seals just sitting there, doing nothing but making noises and watching out for things in the water. This is intentional because seals know that the deadliest predator is just below the surface waiting to eat them, the orca whale. Orcas are also known as killer whales, and for good reason, because they use very advanced strategies to get their prey. Whether it be seals, sea lions, or anything else, seals are in danger of attack by a whale if they're in the water and they're not even safe on land or ice. No doubt, seals hate orcas, and there are even times when other whales will stop the orcas from getting the seals. Number 1. Dogs and cats. Without a doubt, the greatest rivalry in the history of the animal kingdom is that of cats and dogs. A rivalry so documented and talked about that it's been the focus of various movies, TV shows, comedy gags, and more. But let's answer the deep question. Do cats and dogs honestly hate each other? Yes and no. Originally, when the descendants of wolves were domesticated, their initial training was to hunt smaller animals, including cats, which made a very long rivalry for both dogs and cats. As time went on, the hatred grew and the stray dogs and cats began to fight over food and places to live. But pet owners will know that dogs and cats can get along if raised together from a very early age in their lives. Which one of these rivalries did you find the most interesting? Tell us in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.